Hello, young learners. Welcome back to my channel, Decode English with Supriya. So, as you can see, today's chapter is the Kathmandu chapter written by our very own Vikram Seth from your Beehive textbook of class 9. So, let's begin with this chapter. If you look into this chapter, it's basically a part of a travelogue, and the name of the travelogue was Heaven Lake. And this is a part of it which is, where Said is sharing the experience of his travel of Nepal, which is specifically into Kathmandu. So the author basically describes three places, if I say. The first two are the religious places, and the third has to be the other thing. Now, if I talk about the religious places, the first is the Pashupatinath temple, and the second is the Bodhanath stupa. The third one stands as the streets of Kathmandu, where he describes his experience while he's walking on the street. Right? Let's dig inside. Now, the first one, Pashupatinath temple. So, as we all know, Pashupatinath temple is a very sacred temple as per the Hindu religion. So, he describes this place, which is, totally fully in chaos. And as you know, that it is a very important place, part of one of the Jyotirlingas of the Hindu belief. Many people visit Kathmandu for visiting Pashupatinath. And there is a belief that these people do not allow non-Hindus to enter the temple. Now, lot many chaotic things are going out outside the temple. There are holy saints who are wanting to go in. There is crowd. Then there are some Western people who are totally dressed as, the saints. Like they have dressed themselves into saffron clad, and then they're just fighting with the police that we are Hindus, let us in, and the police is not convinced. Then there are animals fighting, like there is cow here and there. There are monkeys who are fighting. Then because Nepal, then when he wrote it, had this king situation, so the princess is coming, and then there are hawkers selling flowers and whatnot. And the situation outside the temple, it's not very peaceful, but it's like, there is chaos, there is a lot going on, and that is what Seth is talking about in this particular place. Not only that, he also talks about one of the superstition which is going on in that area, like the belief system of the people, that their people believe that there is a holy shrine in the Bagmati river, the important river over there, and when the holy shrine will emerge completely out, the Kali Yuga, this current world that we live in, will come to an end. Second part. The second part, say visits Bodhna Stupa, and it is one of the largest Buddhist stupas of the world. And obviously, it's a very important pilgrimage site for the Buddhists. And here, this pilgrimage is of Buddhists, right? The previous one, Pashupatinath, was belonged to Hindus. Now, here, the experience of Vikram Seth was completely different. He's saying the environment was so clean and peaceful, and everything was so organized. Is it so that the place is empty? No, it's not so. There are devotees who are walking, who are, taking clockwise direction. They are chanting prayers, they're spinning the wheels, like all the system which goes on in a Buddhist temple. But everything was in deep silence. There was no chaos. So, do you see how he's comparing the two places? Like the first one, he's saying the Pashupatinath temple, there was a lot going on. There was crowd, there was chaos, right? And talking about this Buddhist temple, it is totally, calm, peace, and silence is there. Now, then he goes and visits, like, after going to Pashupatinath and Bodhnath, he goes out to the streets, and he is going on to one of those streets which is, the busiest among all in the Kathmandu. And there he's saying that there's a blend of energy and what you don't see, like it's narrow street kind of thing. And then there are people, it's totally lively. There are scooters, there are rickshaws, There is honking of vehicles. Then there are vendors who are shouting and calling for their wares that, take this, take this. Then radios are there playing loud music. Like there is a symphony, loud, energetic, everything is going on. And he was just standing at one corner. He bought some food and, like cold drinks and all. And then he was just trying to have his time, enjoy his time. And then he cannot forget one thing. You might see in this picture, it's actually a flute seller. So he sees a flute seller over there and he compares this flute seller with a porcupine. He says that, as if so many spines were coming out of one place, it looked like a porcupine. And then he was mesmerized with the sound. He is so much deeply into the flute seller that he even tells that, others are shouting out on their ways, asking everyone to take their things. But this flute seller, he was so particular that he would not be shouting. He would, like, randomly pick up one of the flute and then he would play it. And then he's also, these kind of things are bringing the love of his for his this thing, the Indian music and American music, and it's believe that he's somewhat connected with music. He brings up to us. He tells us about how every religion is having their own flute. It's a way, and then he compares the flute with life. He says that it is something where a flute you need to pause on the holes and then you blow the air again. So he's saying that human life is also like a flute. Why? Because you take breaks, you move on, you need to stop at places, but then life goes on, right? So, this is one beautiful way of telling, rather comparing human life, human journey with a flute seller. That Vikram Seth has definitely done beautifully into his chapter. Right. Now, if we talk about what do we see, there is a special kind of, intentionally he has done this. There is contrast which he shows. Like, as we discussed that Pashupatinath, it was like chaotic. Bodhnath, it was like, serene. Then one place there were noise, the other place it was peace. These kind of things he's telling us. There is spiritual contrast. If I talk about a few important questions, there can be questions like, what kind of atmosphere was there at Pashupatinath temple? Even the NCRT textbook has such similar questions. Then, how does he describes the Bodhna Stupa? And this one particularly is quite a bit more important, that what were the contrasts between this Pashupatinath and Bodhnath. You can definitely have this question for 6 marks any given day, and you need to connect it very well. And lastly, we can see a few more where, the streets, they leave an effect on Vikram Seth. So that is there. And what effect the flute seller has, that we need to tell. And not to forget, you need to also, you cannot skip the point that, Vikram Seth at the end, he tells that if I had to go back, if I had that chance of, going back, choosing the way to go back to my home, I would rather not go directly with a train or a flight. I would rather, go through the cruise in a ship, or like take some slow mode of traveling. So it is basically showing how he was so much into traveling, and he's not actually looking for just going at some place and clicking photos and coming back. No, he wants to really enjoy the journey, the experience of traveling, the trip. That is what that whole things are being reflected into his travelogues, right? So over here in this little part of Kathmandu, we see how beautifully this man has ex explained to us, about that particular culture, and definitely given us vivid imaginary pictures where we can actually create senses. Do tell me if you need a detailed video, like line by line. And definitely, as of now, thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video, and do subscribe for more similar content. Thank you. Bye bye.